All right, we're here at the 2023 Pro Tour Championships here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And if you're confused about the format for this year's event, don't worry, I got you. Who's here today? Well, we have the top 32 players on tour, plus any winners from the Disc Golf Pro Tour that might not have otherwise been in the top 32 in points. Based on their performances throughout the season, players are going to start the event with different starting scores. Parker Welk, who qualified by winning the DDO, is going to start at even par. But those range all the way up to Calvin Heimburg, who won the regular season. He's going to start at -6. Those players are going to play a 2-round event, and the top 12 players from there will qualify for Saturday, Sunday. Those players are going to play 2 rounds at the newly designed, really tough Nevin part. They're going to take those cumulative scores, and the top 12 scores will then proceed to the finals. When the weekend rolls around, the scores will be reset, and players will have 2 rounds to compete for the biggest prize in disc golf history, $40,000.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the final Jomez event of the year, the 2023 Disc Golf Pro Tour Championships, Round 1 Front 9 action here in Charlotte, North Carolina, Nevin Park, the Matt Keats Memorial Course, and we've got BigBarri commentary, Paul Ulibarri, Jerm.
That's right. I appreciate you breaking down the whole system rather than you and me fumbling over our words and putting people at scores they aren't, like we normally do. This is going to be a fun tournament. We got a great card for you. Toughest course I think we play all year, honestly.
I've heard a lot of people say that. This is a #1 course, a #1 city in the U.S. Woo, let's go, Charlotte.
Okay.
Our home is getting some praise, and it's been called the Mecca for a long time, and we're definitely happy. We're very proud to host the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championships here in the Queen City. No offense to Cincinnati, we're also the Queen City. But yeah, we have the top 4 players from the tour, and Calvin Heimburg, what a season it has been for him. In some ways, he didn't win as much as we thought he would, but he was giving himself opportunity. He gave himself an opportunity literally every tournament.
Look at that birdie rate, 52%.
Yeah.
Get real.
2-time major champion Isaac Robinson, 2nd place in the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I really think it's down to these 2 players right here for Disc Golf Pro Player of the Year, or MPO Player of the Year, and Gannon Buhr. No major wins this season, but he's won Disc Golf Pro Tour events from Chase Card, from League Card, Silver Series, you name it. It's been a great season for Gannon. And how about the story of Ricky Wysocki? He's played limited number of events this year with the injuries that he's had stemming from the Lyme disease, and yet still somehow manages to get 4th place in the Disc Golf Pro Tour season. He's an animal.
Yeah, you're going to start off with one that you got to get. I really believe that. This is 400.
Get this one.
I think so. I think This is one of the easier holes on the course, 419, and you got to bleed it off the left side, pull it into a tiny gap, get yourself a look. What I mean by bleed it off the left, you want to throw it from left to right. Something with Anheuser trying to get to that right side. Early left, kind of bad news. Just a pitch out from there.
Stock distance for Calvin and his favorite driver, the Eagle.
Is that bleeding?
That is just such a good starting drive. Gap gets so tiny right up there at the entrance. And a shout out to Dave George, who's been calling the names out here in hole 1 every year at the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championships once it started being held here in Charlotte.
Can this get a little cut?
Oh, it's the best kick ever. That thing was heading to about 65, 70 feet, and it kicks it right to circle's edge. That's a great result for him.
Gannon just going with a little flip mid-range.
Bit too tight, and that's going to drop down to a pretty manageable jump putt approach for the par.
Rounding out our guard. Please put your hands together for Mr. Ricky Wysocki.
Huge shout out to Ricky Wysocki's performance last year here at Nevin Park. Had to birdie 18, the hardest hole in the course last year. Did so, and then he birdied again in the playoff.
Look at this mid-range.
Is this a mid?
That's a mid-range.
Is it really?
Looks like midi.
I think it's his Explorer.
It could be that, but I mean, it looked fat kind of coming by.
Yeah, that was just going past the basket is pretty remarkable.
I'll tell you this: if it wasn't Explorer, I suggest mid range.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's call this 55. Call it dead center.
Ooh,
What a start.
can't make a better statement than that. Let's watch that in slow motion, up in the air, past all the little leaves on the stripe.
I mean, that is textbook Wysocki putt from range. Perfection. Isaac just outside the circle. Little step putt, just leaked a little bit left.
Doesn't take advantage of the good kick. Calvin with a good ground play. This is just
What a
a
drive.
formality.
Oh my gosh. Nearly inside bullseye off the tee, and
Just like that, he's at 7 under par. That's a nice spot to start, let me tell you.
take a look at the leaderboard here. Calvin looks pretty good.
Hey everyone, I want to let you know today's video is brought to you by Wysocki. As disc golfers, we know how hard it is to find the perfect disc golf shoes to wear year-round. And that's where our friends at Wysocki have you covered. Wysocki started as a way to get people out in the world on rainy days. That's why Wysocki makes 100% waterproof shoes so you can feel confident and ready to explore the outdoors no matter the conditions. Wysocki has models that are perfect for any disc golf course. Navigate any terrain in style and comfort so you can tackle any course anytime. Wysocki's are 100% waterproof, not water resistant, so you can keep water out and your feet dry with their Dymatex technology. Imagine finally being able to retrieve your disc from the water just by stepping in and grabbing it by hand. Wysocki is about to change your game. When it comes to having dry feet, wearing Wysocki's is like having an advantage out on the disc golf course. These shoes redefine what waterproof looks and feels like so you can focus on playing your best. Wysocki is here to help you improve your disc golf game. You can check out all of the styles available over at Wysocki.com/JomezPro and enter code JomezPro for 15% off your order. That's Wysocki.com/JomezPro or click the link down below and enter code JomezPro for 15% off your order. All right, let's get back to it.
Looking at hole 2 here. Just a blind uphill turnover drive for these guys, 366 feet. The best line is a late turning shot down the left side or a little bit straighter line down the center. There's essentially 2 gaps that you can go.
Yeah, you just want to keep it going right at all costs.
This is looking pretty good, but then you see all the trees that you've got to miss once you get to that second half of the fairway.
There's that leaning tree there. If you can go to the left or the right of that. If you go to the left, it's got to be turning the whole way.
And that one kicks pretty hard to the left side there.
And if you go to the right, you need it to kind of flex out just a little
Just
bit.
a tiny bit, yeah.
This
And,
one.
Yeah, that's it right there. Just keep moving, and then this is why the backhand drive is preferable here because it fades back to the pin. Going just a bit long there, right underneath Josh's legs. And super inside for Gannon. It kicks right, and that is not good. Early right side is a very tough spot, and he's got to throw a forehand over his right leg, which is such a hard thing to do. And that's a huge shot. That's a really good scramble shot there.
Probably easier to throw it over his right leg right there than it would be to try to throw it over his left in that instance. Sorry.
Oh no, Ricky kicking early tree. And he's going jump putt. This is from range. Let's call this 180. And oh no.
That's short.
Short. It's sort of short.
It's sort of short of the circle.
Somewhere in C2. And that is not what you want to be left with for the bogey. Hole 2 is a tricky one, though.
Well, he just made a long one. Let's see if he can go back to back.
And that is going to be a double bogey for Rick. That's going to drop him to 3 under.
That's a tough double. This is one you're looking to get.
Wow, what a save for Gannon. I mean, that was nearly dead to rights off the tee. Incredibly challenging second shot. A big putt. And Isaac off to the right side this time. Was it left side again?
Yeah, a little bit left.
Oh.
See how it's over there.
It is on that left side, isn't it? Either way, it's 2 missed putts for Isaac to start the round. Frustrating, but both of them were birdie looks. Meanwhile, Ricky unfortunately dropping 2 shots there with the double.
You don't want to double little holes like this one, I'll tell you that. You can there's harder holes, I promise. That you can find a double on.
And Ricky just drops from second all the way down there. And this is going to be such an interesting format with the different strokes divvied out to players based on their season performances. Obviously, they get 2 rounds to try to put up the best possible number, but got to avoid going down double bogeys for sure. Hole 3, tough double snaking hole starting off from right to left and left to right, uphill 630-foot par 4. This is where we saw Nicolas Antala throw in that remarkable eagle last year.
Very good spot. Yeah, it's okay.
I think, obviously, I think Calvin would like it to be 15 to 20 feet left of that, but he's got a workable throw from there.
It's a really finicky shot. You can hang it out wide and not get to the sweet spot. And if you do hold it tight, that's not a great reaction.
Oh, what a bad break that was.
If you do get too far left, though, there's like these 3 little trees right on that left side that
guardians
make for a very, very tight shot.
And this is a nice play for Gannon, but I think he's going to find those guardians that you're talking about, Paul. Too much turn.
I guess there's 4 trees right there.
There's a bunch. We saw Ricky throw one here last year that just longest that I've ever seen on the hole. And this is looking
longer.
Not quite as far, but it is just as good. Yeah, he threw it past the short tee box, which you're going to see right here coming into your screen.
Yeah, he's only about 320 feet away from where he's at right now.
That's amazing. And after a bad break, Isaac kicks back into the fairway. He's going to have that tree to deal with, but he's at least in the fairway, chance to save the par still.
The end of that tee pad is 285 to the pin.
Okay. And good ground play for Calvin. That's going to be a long look for the birdie on 3. Very rarely birdied hole.
Yeah, see, this just makes you have the tightest little windows. He's going to be happy with that.
And something to keep in mind here, that was a hyzer flip shot. What we're used to seeing from Gannon Buhr is that force over flex. He told me that he has been working a lot on a higher reach back angle to try to come through with the hyzer flip lines, as Ricky's just dialed this hole up perfectly. 2 absolutely fantastic shots.
Lost as many, though.
Lost as many, yeah. It's nearly leaf colored on the bottom. And
look at this sidearm approach from Isaac.
It's good stuff there.
Little dime, yeah.
What do you think's harder? Going from a spin putt to a push putt? Oh, wow. Calvin almost drilling that one from 90. Or going from a hyzer flip player to an Anheuser player? They're both such drastic styles.
Yeah, probably the push to spin, I would guess, because you can just get a flippy disc and throw it on hyzer. Sneaks that one in. Ricky, these are just tap-ins.
And a good bounce back birdie for Rick. Only 2 players in the field grabbing birdie here on 3, Adam Hammes and Ricky Wysocki.
Really?
That being said, only 2 bogeys. I'm not going to say their names. We're just going to give credit to, but yeah, overall, averaging at an even 4. Paul, why don't you walk us through the slightly lengthened hole 4?
Yeah, I mean, right to left shot off the tee. Really easy to pull it to the right side and kick down that cliff. This is a cliff on the right side the whole way. Early left isn't much better. You're going to see a lot of mid-ranges, putters off the tees, maybe sidearm turnover from time to time. But from there, you're going to have about 380 to 320 to the pin, and that's minimum.
Yeah, I think the biggest change is that this has gone from a mid-range approach to a fairway driver approach. But that's about what you want. I don't know if Ricky loves that kick because that's going to push him a little bit on the awkwardly left side, but he's still going to have a good swing.
Yeah, he'll be able to manufacture something around that corner. It's nice to see. Before, I bet you we saw a lot more people throwing maybe fairway to driver off the tee because if you got left, it really didn't matter.
Yes.
But now people really figured it out by throwing these mid-range and putters, making sure that they're just landing in the fairway and having that 400 to 380 shot into the pin.
They're figuring out that golf thing, Paul.
Yeah, well, these guys, that's what they kind of do.
Early left side, and that kicks to the right, and that's going to be bad news for Gannon. You do not want to be down here to the right.
Yeah, look how fast it gets down that cliff and goes. He's a good 20 feet off double kick.
No, that was a really well thrown out, and it would put him right back into position, probably in a good spot to save par. But with that double kick, I think he's looking at best case scenario bogey.
Oh, boy.
Oh, the double kick for Cal, or maybe just a single kick, but either way, that is parked now for birdie.
Goes from being, let's see where it would have ended up.
30.
30 feet.
Something like that. Probably still inside C1, but now he's going to have to worry about hitting his head on the basket.
And now again, it's just pitching out, trying to get that bogey. That ain't no gimme from there.
Man, that double plinko was not kind. Yeah, Ricky had plenty of space there. If you get too far left, you really don't have a good angle, like you're saying. That's why these guys are going mid-range instead of fairway. But Ricky just dials that one up. Another look for birdie coming up for Ricky. And a great drive for Isaac. And he has
Done
it.
Well, that's a clinical how you play this hole from those three guys.
Seriously.
And a great look at
What happens if you... Oh, no.
if you pull it.
And Gannon goes back to the right again. Exactly, though. That's how you draw it up. And then there's one example of how you don't draw it up.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
No, my gosh. Gannon's going to have that for the double bogey. He's got to make a 50-footer for a double.
You know, one of the things with Gannon, he's so hyper-aggressive as he
Oh,
goes
no.
over
He's
the
got to
top,
make that for triple.
is you get into spots like that where you just think you can make it from anywhere. And that's a great putt there. But when you think you can make it from everywhere, sometimes it's okay to just lay it up and get your bogey, hurts, or even your double. One of the things that I saw last week, and that's a good putt for triple, is watching Kyle on hole 12 at USDGC lay up for double. And I thought that was kind of a big moment for him.
Was it for double?
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, that was very impressive to see him take his medicine like that and just live to see another day. Gannon is going to be fighting from behind the 8 ball now. He is 3 over par, and that's going to drop him off our leaderboard screen. That's going to take him all the way down to 22nd place. Just a reminder, only 12 make it through Saturday or into Saturday in the finals. But 3 birdies for the other 3 players. It's a nice score there on hole 4.
Yeah, this one is also pretty tricky, Jerm. First shot down the hill. What do they do on the second one? Through here
Well,
somewhere?
you're trying to get into the shadows there, and then from there, it's a power drive through the woods, around the corner here, and then you just want to be somewhere short of this basket so you have an approach to that long basket there. This is the short basket that the drone stopped on, but they lengthened this one by about 80 feet or so, making it even more of a true par 5. And Ricky's drive pulls off to the right side. And as long as it doesn't roll in the woods, he'll at least be able to throw a second shot.
Yeah, par is possible from there. It's going to be tough, though.
Subbing Calvin Heimburg for me for all time to throw this drive. Just, it's what he does.
Yeah, before we watched Ricky throw
So
his shot, I would say sub him. I was watching him throw stall shots over the bushes that were getting almost to the tree line over the bushes and coming in. He had like a 40-footer when I practiced with him for Eagle.
I have memory of this hole from 2010, the year that David Wiggins won all the amateur majors on course or en route to becoming the amateur world champion. He played the Charlotte Amateur Championships, and they played this hole position, and he threw a boss into the gap as an amateur. It's just like completely unfair. From there, he threw a rock around the corner and had a look for eagle with a mid-range second shot. Just
what?
Oh no, this is going right. Paul, I've never seen anything like this on this hole.
What was he doing? Oh, he's trying to throw a flex shot.
I think he was trying to that nifty little stall play that you're talking about over the top.
Yep.
And he just did not get away with it. And I mean, oh boy, Isaac missing the gap. I think Ricky might even be lucky to find his disc off to the right side.
Never been over there. I'm saying he's stalling him over with the drive, not the second shot.
Yeah, sure. But I think he still tried to do that on the second shot. Maybe an ill-advised decision there for Rick, but Gannon is far on his second shot, but left side is a very tough angle, and Calvin looked like he had some issues with the footing, just skies that one off to the right side.
Yeah, these guys are showing you why I feel like this is kind of a wide hole for this course, and they're having trouble just hitting these gaps.
Definitely. Well, let's see what's going on with the Ricky saga right now. I think he is throwing his fourth shot. We missed his third shot out, and this is him throwing his fourth, and it's a roller in his left side. And Ricky, who has not had a par yet, is in danger of taking his second double bogey now. He's got to find a way to get up and down to save the single bogey, and it's really hard off to that left side.
Calvin gets away with a little bit right there. That was nifty. Through the hole right there, turning from left to right. Looked like an awkward footing as well. Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just, he's the one that, you'd want in this situation to manufacture something, and that's a great effort from back there, but he's at the back edge of C2 putting for a bogey.
Kind of a bad break to hit that one in the middle.
Yeah,
man,
no
that's tough.
Everything else was so good about it, but you see Gannon from a similar spot trying to just find something, and this is going to fade down the hill. And that is an errant approach for Isaac.
No way.
And so far, I guess Gannon hasn't really thrown an errant shot. He just hasn't really had a great look for the clear path birdie yet. It'll be par for Calvin.
Just moving this back a little bit made it so much harder.
Without question. And Ricky gives it a good effort, but that's going to be another double bogey. And so he goes under par and then over par and then back to even, back to under par and right back to over par. It's been a ton of up and down.
Ooh, going left to right here.
Oh, that's a fantastic effort. Yeah, wow, what a save for par for Isaac. Getting away with a poor approach with good putting. Helping him maybe gain a little confidence going into the next hole.
The poor man's currency, putting.
Favorite Sexton line.
Outside the circle putting.
Yeah, yeah. Gannon, that would have been... I had no idea that he had the tree in his way as well. I saw him give that effort from on the knee from, let's call it 70 feet or so, but also having to go Anheuser. It's a slow start for Gannon. He's got to start getting something together. He doesn't want to be super behind going into Friday having to make up strokes. might recognize this as the location where hole 18 was last year. A big hyzer around the horseshoe pits, trying to land somewhere where the drone is now. From there, it is a big shot underneath this gap, and we have now brought the basket into the woods for a par 5 location. You want to push that right side bush line. From there, you go over the creek into the woods, and this hole just takes you on a full-on safari. Obviously, there's a mandatory on the right side of that tree, and that's decent looking drive there for Calvin.
I think better than decent. This is a monster drive.
Yeah, never mind. Wow, decent is an understatement.
That's as far as you can throw the hyzer, I think, without hitting the backside.
Yeah,
of the
without
tree
getting
line.
tighter to the initial mandatory tree. So this being tighter to the mando tree just gets around the horseshoe pits, and I think the angle might be preferable for where Isaac's drive landed, but you'll definitely take the Calvin distance.
Also tighter.
That's perfect.
You think it gets past Calvin's? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's closer to the pin.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's closer to the pin because he kept it tighter to the tree, and it was in the air just as long, I think. Isaac laying a late flip roller. That is a beautiful throw. Grass isn't in super duper short, but it's short enough to land a good roller.
You have to be right, as right as you possibly can on this hole. Otherwise, you're gonna be in for a long day.
And look at that, another hyzer flip special here for Gannon. Late turn, and that is an absolute beauty. What great long distance control. Little overturned and early for Calvin.
Right next to the beautiful roller, though.
I mean,
Hilarious. That's what that far distance will get you. This
Paul,
is a monster.
turn the cameraman around.
What?
Turn him around. He's going to have a putt for eagle
What?
on the monster hole 6.
What the heck is that?
Such an insane second shot for Ricky.
Yeah, I think that's that same mid-range. It's a good reaction.
Yeah.
A great reaction.
And look how tight that was on the left side, and it still hit right side trees. That's exactly why it's so challenging if you're not against that bush line on the right side. And Isaac does a great job with his speed control to allow the disc to hyzer before it gets to those right trees that Calvin hit.
This has got to beat those same trees. It does, and it's right there.
Gannon will have his first birdie. How close is Ricky?
Jump putting.
Let's call it 90 feet, maybe 100. Oh my gosh.
That's it's the most impressive miss I've seen in a long time.
Question.
Doesn't matter though, because
Calvin doesn't even. You know when Calvin's reaching down for his mini halfway through the flight, that's a good putt. That's his subtle way of flexing right there. I think we're just Isaac's short putt away from guaranteeing a star frame. Oh! Squeezes that one in.
It looked like he putted that in slow motion. Like he was like not sure he wanted to putt, and then it just goes in. Nice putt.
I am actually astonished right now. A star frame, the first one of the day here on 6.
6 is so hard.
Oh,
look at it from this angle.
I will give props to you. You said that there was going to be 6 birdies. I think you said there's 6 birdies. And there was 7. I thought there'd be 4, maybe 3.
Feeling great starts with a great shave. Today, the world is in the palm of your hand. Or at least this can is. For over 100 years, Barbasol, it's a can of can-do.
Hole 7, second most difficult hole on the course, and for good reason. It has to take a perfect drive down the hill, turning right, and from there you just have a series of different challenging gaps. The only way I think that you can really birdie it if you play it perfectly is if you throw a forehand drive that turns over a little inside, and then there's an inside route to the pin. Other than that, it's going to take some hero shot to get to the pin around these trees. Unlike that. Calvin's going to be in big time trouble with the early tree kick.
Not that bad of a spot since he didn't go left or right. He's going to be able to at least get into a position of a regular drive. With it shouldn't be that tough. Same with him. It's really not that tough to get from there to where you want to be.
And okay. So Gannon, Calvin, and Isaac all creating a new tee pad about 100 feet off the tee. And that's it. That's the one.
If you give Ricky an inch.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, look at his round so far, Paul. It's the most Ricky Wysocki thing I have ever seen. The guy has no interest in taking pars. And Calvin now is in a very serious dilemma.
That's dead.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to have any play for the par. And this has got to watch out. Heavy angle, and that's what you got to worry about because there is OB on that left side.
Safe.
I think he just got away with one. That was moving towards the creek in a hurry, and I think he might have hit some limbs on the ground or something that stopped it from going in that OB creek. See if Isaac can get the angle, but this is a little bit softer angle. And that's just fine.
I'm surprised that they didn't get... I think they tried to take a little too much off. Or put a little too much on. Because it's not hard to get to that side. Oh boy, don't go into the OB.
Oh, somehow Calvin avoids any of the roots that normally kick me out of bounds left and just ends up in the fairway, and it's going to be up and down for bogey for Calvin now.
Doable from here. He needs a big skip.
And it gets a pretty decent skip, but then hits the tree and rolls back. So outside C1 coming up for Gannon.
I like the way he putts, though.
Yeah, see, that's the thing about it. He's good at that thing. And this is that inside line I was talking about, and Ricky has found his way through the woods and nearly home to Grandma's house for the birdie.
Cookies?
I think there's cookies at Grandma's house.
I love cookies.
If you get a birdie, you get rewarded.
Uh-oh. Bad guy right there.
A lump of coal coming up for Isaac here on hole 7. Maybe a year-old licorice. Left side. That would have been a very good scramble for Gannon, considering his second shot essentially was going right out of bounds. Meanwhile, Ricky grabbing birdie. Once again, he is among one other player in the field to grab birdie here, Anthony Barella. And unlike hole 3, this one had several holes that averaged, or that players that got worse than par.
They got worse than holes. Those guys.
They did worse in this hole than I did talking about it, so that's not good.
Second hardest hole, though.
To talk about?
It's tough. It's got some fumblers with the way you talk.
Calvin still 2 shots clear of the field, even with the bogey. And Ricky's still on pace to do that I don't care about par thing. Does that quite a bit.
Yeah. Hole 8. This is a tough one. I mean, look at the distance, 462 down the hill the whole way. You have wires all over the place, out of bounds, ditch at the bottom. But you do have a nice backstop, so you can throw it pretty much as hard as you'd like with whatever disc you'd like, as long as it has the distance to get over. As straight as you can possibly throw it. One power
just
pole right.
Hit the
way.
line. Just avoid this pole, which he's done.
But he needs to hurry.
Oh, he's hurried. He's in the circle. He's at the edge of, let's call it 30 feet. And this is really all you need to say about Nevin. This is the 4th easiest hole in the course. This is 462 feet through a relatively tight line.
Lots of obstacles. Lots.
And that's just how this course just delivers difficulty from hole to hole. Calvin just dialing it up. Maybe one of the most Calvin Heimburg holes we've ever seen.
Any hole that's straight.
The whole way.
Far. Straight and far.
Correct. Isaac's got that one moving, but it's starting to hyzer out to the left side, but it's across the creek.
It's fine. The ones that look like they go way far left, they're only like 45 feet.
And I would say, it's no farther than 40 feet. Oh, that's the one. Just wish those were trees. You know what? Just grow an oak tree right there. Just something about hitting a power line in the middle of the fairway. It just kind of hurts.
Has to lay up.
Yeah, it has to lay up, and then look at this. That was a full 100th of a normal Gannon Buhr time.
With a disc that he probably would never throw a sidearm with.
He just didn't even care. And he didn't need to care. He parked it. What a nice putt. And what a nice round, aside from 2 kind of awkward blemishes.
Listen, if you go, there's going to be people going through this whole tournament without 6 birdies. I promise you.
Good birdie from Isaac.
And he's got 6 in the first 8 holes.
Pretty wild. Pretty wild. He's got 6 birdies, but he's only 2 under par.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing.
That's the
You're
other
not going to
thing.
go a whole tournament without a double bogey here either.
Especially with this course. I mean, his game plan is attack, attack, attack. It always is. Ricky's not really that one to play for par. But you live by the sword, you die by the sword, and that's how Ricky's pretty much played his whole career.
Don't look now, but Gannon is 4 over.
Well, I'm looking. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I'm sure he's not either. If he's checking scores, I'm sure that pressure is felt. Going to hole 9, original hole 1 here at Nevin. Par 4, 580 feet with a lengthened basket that they brought back here on the other side of this log last year. So this is the 2nd year playing this iteration. Got to throw one relatively straight that barely breaks off to the right a little bit, but you want to push that back side of the fairway. You do not want to find yourself early right. And did that hit tree and kick right? It's what you'd like to avoid. This is what the doctor ordered. Beautiful. And he even danced around that route really nicely. One of the more Isaac Robinson looking holes that we've seen here at Nevin.
Lovely. Right behind the tree, though. A little awkward from there. No matter how much Isaac Robinson is Isaac Robinson.
Yeah, and he is very much Isaac Robinson.
He's a lot.
Oh, my gosh. Maybe more than anyone else. A little early for... Yeah. I don't know. Have you seen Ezra Robinson?
Guy's pretty Robinson-y.
And Ricky in more trouble early right side, and it is going to take a remarkable effort from here to save the par. Oh, no. Paul, it's that bogey blues once again.
He's pretty... Oh, but then there was that. Interesting. Very interesting.
Calvin, is this inside the line? It is gorgeous. Oh.
Calvin might be more Isaac Robinson.
He might be more Isaac than Isaac, and sometimes he is, for sure. Incredible.
Can this get to pin high over the log?
It's trying, but I think it comes up short. Short and right. That log is sitting there at about 52 feet away.
Oh, no. This can get dangerous.
And it's kicked right. Paul, he is looking at another double bogey.
If he can get through there, that's
If he can get up and down.
easy.
What an absolutely wild front nine for Ricky Wysocki. Just the best of the best. And then just so many of these just scrambling. And he's got that now for a 6. And that would put him at even par on the front nine with 6 birdies. Oh, great effort from 70 feet for Gannon. I think Isaac liked that. Starting to lean it in just a bit wide. Man, this is... You said good putt earlier for Gannon when he got his triple, and that's a good putt for Ricky when he gets his double. We've seen some good putts for bad numbers. And look at Calvin's approach sitting there on the birdie bucket. The leader.
You know what's crazy to think about is Calvin's just absolutely blasting some of these guys. Just wrecking them. And if these guys sneak in, clean slate for them. Like he could possibly have 12th place by 15 shots.
I mean, he's looking incredibly good right now, obviously.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah, I mean, I think essentially what he's doing right now is he is playing this course trying to get ready for the weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know it's obviously way too early to call that. We still have a round and a half left before we eliminate the field down to 12 players. But I mean, this is practice. He's got so many buffer strokes, so many things that have to go wrong for him to not qualify. And of course, once those 12 players are set, the scores go back to even par. So I think he's just got time to figure out how to win this thing and win the 40K.
Yeah, you're right. Ricky needs to get on top of it. That looked like a Jomez wedding cake with all those layers of colors on there.
Yes, it did. Fantastic. Well, we've got 9 more holes for round 1 coming your way in just a moment. Stick around.